Chris here with Chris of Fine Art. And you know what? I wanted to share with you a little secret to creating depth with your paintings. And it doesn't have anything to do with paint, which is kind of surprising. So as you know, you have the elements of art. You know, you have line, form, color, blah, 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 blah. There's 7 of them. It's good to study them. I don't have them memorized, obviously, but one of them is depth. And according to Ellie Milan, in our Milan Art Institute Mastery Program course, which I took and graduated from, you have to have at least 5 levels of depth to make a painting really effective. So, you know, that becomes a problem. Like, how do you create this depth? Sure, you can, fuzz things out in the back. You can make them lighter in the back, and that's all well and good. And you can have multiple layers of depth that way. But it's always nice to have something in your little holster ready to go to create more depth and even more interest. So what is this magic potion that I have? Well, it's modeling paste. And what it is, I was kind of, doing some modeling paste things. And as you can see, modeling paste with, certain stencils and things creates a really beautiful texture. And it catches the light. A lot of my paintings have gold and metallics in them and, lots of different colors. And when you put texture in, it catches the light. So when a person sees the painting, they see the painting, but when they get closer, they go, wow, there's a lot more to this painting than I thought. So the texture is kind of a really nice little added bonus. But I was playing around with texture the other day and I was kind of having a little difficulty because I wanted most of the canvas to be covered, but you can't put a stencil over something that's just freshly been modeling pasted. So I went, okay, I let it sit overnight. And then I thought, you know what? If I really want a lot of interest on this particular painting, I'm going to start layering these stencils. And you can see I kind of layered some of them. And they have, in the background are these little tree stencils, and they're sort of upside down and sideways. And then I put these beautiful flower stencils on top. And if you look really, really closely, you can see that they look like they're on top of the stencil. Now, obviously, I had to let the tree ones dry overnight. But I'm going to show you a couple of ways to even add more depth than that. So with the modeling paste, I'm going to use probably this cute stencil. You can see I already used it. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put it over one of these little trees to create some depth. And I just use my finger because it's a lot easier. I don't use the tools. Fingers, I don't know, I use my fingers a lot, because they're just so easy, you can feel exactly what's going on. Now, if I made this thick, I could make it look like it's closer, right? Like some of these are really thick and they look like they're right in the foreground. But if I make it thinner, like say I smooth off a lot of this stuff on the top here, making sure that I cover everything, I can make it look like it's farther away. So that's what I'm doing here. And let's see how it looks. Woohoo! And you can see I did go kind of thick on this one, but it does definitely look closer than the tree behind it. Now, if I wanted to go really thin, I could. I could also sand it down once it dries if I don't like the way it looks. But I kind of do like the way it looks. In fact, I'm going to do another one up on top here. Just a piece of one. I really love this little stencil here. Now, I think I'm going to go back to this one. This one's like a little fern stencil. And I'm going to put just a little tip here at the top. Just kind of a little suggestion of this fern. Now, let's try to make it real, kind of far away looking. Let's make it real light. Hopefully that'll work. If I wanted to make it real light, I could use a sponge. Got a little yud on the side, and a little bit too much there. There. Oops, messy, messy. But you can see a little bit of it standing out, but a little bit of it kind of fell back into the background. So this makes a really pretty texture. And then what I usually do is I paint a background over it, always, with the gold. I love the gold. And lots of colors, and then I paint in oil. The other stuff is acrylic, but I paint in oil, usually a figure or a portrait or something. I can do it in any direction I want to with this one. And then you come in and you see the oil and you come in and you actually are drawn in because you see the texture in the design, and it really is a beautiful way to add more interest to these particular paintings. So you have to let this stuff dry 48 hours. And then when you're done, if you want to sand it, go ahead and sand it. And then you have to gesso it and let that dry. So it is a bit of a runway to get it started and to get it up and rolling. But as you can see, the results can be pretty spectacular when you paint over something like this. Now I'm using this modeling paste from Montmartre. It's just pasta a modelare, or pasta del modelado. I'm in Italy, so this is the modeling paste I get, but you can get some on Amazon in the US as well. Works really great. It's relatively soft and smooth, kind of like a little frosting, maybe, or a meringue. Easy to spread and easy to work with. So there you go, guys. I hope that helps. I hope you try some of these things. They're a lot of fun. If you don't like it, you can always scrape it off and start again. So let me know in the comments if you try this. I would love to see your paintings with a little bit of texture in it and whether or not you feel like you got the depth you were looking for. Take care, guys.